introduce to you Ivor Hoyte, a resident and a member of the constituency branch of St. Joseph, who is going to tell you his story. Please don't only look and listen. Remember him and his family in your prayers and ask God's guidance to help to strengthen him and all others that they can continue in another opportunity to make their contribution to the growth and development of Barbados. Please give him a rousing applause as you have all others here this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, comrades. Like she said, my name is Ivor Hoyte. But I wonder when it was advertised why they referred to me as a fired national housing worker. The Barbados Labour Party like to protect people. They can't protect me anymore because I get fired again. And I feel good I don't have to hide behind the corridors to hide from the Democratic Labour Party government. I was first introduced to the Barbados Labour Party as a young 18-year-old by 1970 by a man called Hoyte. And he introduced me to the late, great Granny Adams, who was the representative of St. Joseph. And he spoke to me at the time of a very heavy baritone voice. I don't know how many of you have ever heard Granny Adams speaking. His voice was very solid. When he shook my hand, he said, "You are with the right party. I hope you don't stumble and fall." And I inculcated those words into my mind, and I particularly remember him in joining the Barbados Labour Party. I went in 1978. I joined the Transport Board. And on joining the Transport Board, 6 months after being a clerical officer there in the operations department, I was promoted to a supervisor at the Transport Board. I can see some of the faces in here who worked with me at the Transport Board. I trained conductors, I trained drivers, I trained what you call the spies, which would have been the inspectors at the Transport Board. 1992, after spending 14 years at the Transport Board, there was a gentleman, I should call his name because he's departed now, not that I'm telling lies on him. The same day that my first child was born, he said to me, "Hoyte, the government make it easy for me to send you home. There's nothing you can do." I received a letter the next day. And the following day, I received another letter asking me or forbidding me trespassing on the compound of Transport Board. I called Henry Ford in his office. He said, "I will forget the severance letter. Bring that one to me." When I showed him, he said, "We're going to court with this." I sued the Transport Board. Before that, let me give you a history of the Democratic Labour Party and why they target me. There was a gentleman there named Arnie Walters who was the personnel officer. He did everything within his power as personnel officer to get rid of Ivor Hoyte. I was recommended by the Barbados Workers Union to a seminar, a one-week seminar. There were 3 of us. And once my name went to his table, his desk, it sent back down with my name erased, not he. But a lady who was working in my department, she was given the okay to go. And I was told that every night you could see MF 541 owned by the Transport Board, the government of Barbados, up there. And he wasn't on the seminar. I came home in 1992. Went back into government at the BAMC because I am a trained bench chemist. You know, I went to BAMC, and when I got there the next time, you know, I look around, I see Arnie Walters there again. I drove BAMC car got into an accident at night because of coming off of dry into a corner, road wet. Car slid, car hit. Over a year, it took him to decide what to do with me. There is a workers' union of the Barbados, the supervisors of the Barbados Crop Association, something like that. The people knew me and they elected me as the secretary to confront Walters and the sugar industry, not in a vagabond way. That's it. You know, Annie Waters, listen here in an accident, you know what I know get rid of I gone. When they fired me from the transport board, my little boy didn't ask to come. I had to provide for him. I cried. Honestly, the first time I've been fired in my life, I cried. I had a mortgage, not big. I asked how it's going to come. I cried. In 1978, a lady from the Life of Barbados, and it was then, came to me and I took out an insurance policy with the company. And it worked for 11 years and the accrued, what you call it again? Cash, surrender value. I had to surrender that to make sure that my little boy did not suffer because he wasn't responsible. I cried. I was home for 2 years, 2 months, not knowing what to do. I saw an ad in a paper, and I said I will apply. When I got to the interview, I said, I can't use the term here. I come to this. You know what the job was? Taking up a box with merchandise and walking through Barbados, asking people to buy. But I did that not for me, for my son who wasn't able or capable of providing for himself. I decided I was going to do that, and I will not beg or I will not ask any person to support him. It was my responsibility that he get something, and whatever it was, as long as I can support him, I was prepared to do it. I got run away from Transport Board. I got run away from BAMC. I joined housing in 2000. Arnie Waters wasn't there. God bless him. And I work. I am sure that I would have been doing the things that the National Housing Corporation asked me to do. If you check my record at the National Housing Corporation, I doubt, and I will put my neck to the block, that you will find 10 days absence apart from vacation at the National Housing on my record. Never used to be sick, would not declare sick. And I worked and I made sure that I was loyal to my commitment to the National Housing Corporation. But believe you me, what hurt me most on the 31st of January, 2 Fridays ago, not me being sent home, was those persons, young person into the establishment for the first time. A lady, a young girl at 25, 26, somewhere around there, she said the government told me they are not going to send home any person, and I went and got a mortgage, and look what they do. When she was given the letter, she was the first person that was handed a letter, and she literally collapsed on the ground, not knowing where to get the money to honor her debt to the mortgage finance company that gave her that mortgage. And you know the ironic thing about it? On the same floor that she was handed the letter is the same floor of the management, and the same floor as Walter Maloney, and he was not there. Walter Maloney never showed up to give solace to any of the workers who were sent home. He never showed up to give comfort to any person. And the people at National Housing were in there crying. People who retained their jobs were crying, eyes are red and weeping, because they have never seen anything like that before. People upstairs, people downstairs. You just walk, traverse the offices, people crying, and Walter Maloney is not there. Walter Maloney, I heard him on the radio, and I saw him in the papers, saying that the workers will not be disadvantaged, the union will not sit back and allow the workers to be disadvantaged. Walter Maloney asked the people of the country, those who are in the public service, to restrain yourself and don't ask for a pay increase because you are not going to be sent home. And this is where I say that the workers' union of this country has masturbated the minds of the people of this country. Because once the first letter was issued, Walter Maloney should have said to the government, you gave me your word, I stuck by it. I asked the people not to ask for an increase. No, I am going to walk. You have to hire them or you will fall. He should have brought the government to its knees. I remember in 1970 or 79, a young Prime Minister, Tom Adams, had to fight with the Barbados Telecommunications Office. It was Bartel, the communications, for one man called David Joyce. Barbados was brought to its knees for one man. And you have a union that is seeing 3,000 people going home in 2014, and they say we can't walk. And the General Secretary has the audacity, the temerity, the compulsion to say that a person who is not a temporary worker don't have no job. Well, I want to ask the General Secretary something. If you are a temporary worker and you don't have a job, why were you paid? And if you are a temporary worker and you were paid by management, why did they pay you? And if you are a temporary worker and the management pay you, isn't that something that should be investigated? Because something tell me it's a misappropriation of funds. I just started. I would like to talk about the union, but she tell me come home. No, I am an obedient child. I'm obedient. But I want you. It is not for the Barbados Labour Party to get up and walk. It is not for the Barbados Labour Party to fight the plight of the people. It is the people who put their money in the workers' union that ought to be representing them. And it is the union that owes the people of Barbados because they deceive the people of Barbados also. And you should be made to give back the people their money that you took from them. I could continue to talk, but I am asked to come home. And I will come home. There's much more I can say. I'm an obedient child. Now, now, ladies, now, let me just continue, If there is any person that is a temporary worker that should be going home, is Walter Maloney. Walter Maloney was in the job that he is in for less than 6 years. Walter Maloney presided against a man who was there that people can go to at any time. How many of you know Coppin? Who's Coppin here? Coppin from Glen office. He was sent home. I don't remember but he was bitterly victimized. Coppin, gone, Walter took over the job. Less than 5 years as a temporary worker. He's still working. He should be first to go. Not me who put in 15 years. Other persons that supported the Barbados Labour Party, 14, 15, 16 years, gone home. And you know the ironic thing of it? There were 3 persons in my department. One from St. Lucie, one from St. Joseph, one from St. Philip. But you know the only one that gone home? The one from St. Joseph. Because they know I represent, and I shall continue to represent the Barbados Labour Party until I fall. The other 2 are supporters of the Democratic Labour Party. What hurt me most, though, when I was handed the letter and the indignified way in which it was done, the gentleman came to me, tears are flowing. I said, man, don't cry. I'll be good. I prepared for this. He cried. The financial controller called me on Monday, and she relayed a story to me. I said, well, I'm okay. I will survive. I went home. I told my old lady, was 100 in November the 27th last year. And she said to me, Ivor, if I have to give you all my pension, you're going to live. I said, Mommy, it isn't going to come to that. I prepared for the wet days, and I shall survive. If the Dems live, I too shall live. I ain't kill nobody. The police not looking for me. No mortgage agency has any debt collectors looking for me. I am free. And I feel freer today that I can come and address you, and I have to think what is going to happen to me tomorrow. Because I am in a free, like the gentleman said, democracy. And I shall exercise that right so long as I have breath in my body. And I am going to tell you this. Now that I have free time on my hand, you are going to see and hear Ivor Hoyte. You are going to see and know who is the real, true Ivor Hoyte. And I tell you, tell the Dems, I coming, because they are not going to like what I am going to say or do. I am not going to defame. I am not going to belittle the Barbados Labour Party. But I am going to make sure that the people of this country get what is duly theirs, true representation. I am not going to go into politics. I am not here for that. But I only want to ask one question. Do you think any minister of Tom Adams or Eric Barker get up and say, I challenging you, I am creating a revolt in your cabinet, I want you to listen to me, and you still got a job? You think that could happen to those men? You think it can happen to Hoyte? What? Look, as Gabby said, one day coming soon. And one day coming soon, the people will wake up. I hope when the people wake up, not only the day will, but that we will have those who are able to stand up and be counted and be reckoned and say, I want to reclaim my country that has become the laughingstock of the Caribbean. I want you to tell the people that Barbados will not fall. We, within the gravity of the law, will do what is expedient and what is right to rescue the perishing souls of this country that have become the laughingstock of the Caribbean. I remember in 1991, those of you who remember Knights Limited on Broad Street, I was in there shopping, and there were 2 men from Trinidad. One said, the rock crack, the wall is coming down. And I looked back at them with an expletive I dare not use. And asked them what you're doing in Barbados. He said, when again crumble, the dollar again fall, and we don't want it in Trinidad. I was asked to leave Knights Limited. If only I could have found a blind man's stick, I would have been probably still in Dodge. At that time, it was prison in Blenderry. You cannot come into my country and laugh at me. You cannot come into my country where we have the best leaders in the Caribbean. I, now, when I speak, I am excluding, because we don't know who is the Prime Minister of this country. We have one by virtue of the statue, but we don't know who is leading the country. But I am saying, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent once declared that Owen Arthur is easily the best leader in the Caribbean. And he said that whatever has to be done to economies within the region, Owen Arthur is there. Tell me of any one of the Caribbean leaders that we call Chris Sinclair or from that Stewart to help them out. But I tell you again, count your blessings. Hold on. The old people tell you time longer than twine, and it shall surely be shortened. I ask you to stay with the Barbados Labour Party. Let your voices be heard. Traverse the streets. Bring out your banners. Bring out your clothes. Bring out whatever you have, and to support the Barbados Labour Party as they go on rescue mission. God bless you. Good night. I thank you.